Hey there, welcome back. Today, we're uh, diving deep into something that's probably got you hitting, I agree, like a dozen times a day online contracts.
Yeah.
Specifically, we're kind of untangling the wild world of Clickwrap and Browsewrap agreements.
Yeah, these aren't just like legal jargon,
No,
that
no.
actually determine what's enforceable, like when you're clicking through a website or an app.
Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, knowing the difference can be pretty darn empowering for you as a user.
Okay, so click wrap, that's the classic I agree button after, wall of text, right?
Right.
Kind of like when, a game makes you agree to its rules before you can play.
Yeah.
Except, I'll be honest, I usually just click through without reading.
Yeah, I think we've all been there.
Yeah,
And legally speaking, that action of clicking is what signifies your agreement.
right.
But there's a fascinating legal catch that makes this whole thing more nuanced than just like sticking some terms anywhere on a site.
Ooh, I love a good catch. Lay it on me.
Okay, so it all goes back to a 2002 case, Specht v. Netscape.
Okay.
So imagine this. Netscape had this arbitration clause buried in their terms.
Okay.
The kind that says any dispute has to be settled out of court.
Sounds like they were trying to avoid a public legal battle.
Exactly. But here's the thing. The court actually sided with the users because that clause was basically impossible to find.
Wow.
They introduced this concept of a reasonably prudent offeree.
Reasonably prudent offeree. Okay, gotta admit, the legalese is kicking in. What does that even mean?
Basically, it means a hypothetical person using the internet with, like, a reasonable level of awareness and caution.
Okay.
The court said that a reasonably prudent person wouldn't have even known that sneaky arbitration clause existed, let alone agreed to it, just by downloading Netscape software.
So just because a website has, like, terms listed somewhere,
Yeah.
they can't just hide important stuff and
Yeah.
expect us to be bound by it.
You got it. That's exactly what this case established.
Wow.
There has to be a reasonable expectation that users would actually see and understand the terms.
Okay, so click wrap agreements, while they seem straightforward, have some hidden depths.
Right.
But what about browse wrap? I feel like I've heard that term thrown around, but I'm not entirely sure I understand the difference.
Okay, think of it this way. You visit a friend's house, and there's a no shoes sign on the door.
Right.
You didn't verbally say, yes, I agree to take off my shoes.
Right.
But you were aware of the rule just by being there. Right.
It was implied even if nobody actually said anything.
Exactly.
But how does that translate to, like, websites and apps?
It's about what a user should reasonably know based on how the site is designed.
Okay.
Let's say a website clearly lays out its terms of use, like a privacy policy or rules about data scraping, even if you don't click. I agree. Just using the site while knowing those terms are there means you could be bound by them.
So it's less about clicking a button and more about whether you were aware of the rules in the first place.
Precisely. And a super interesting case that illustrates this is Cairo v. Cross Media Services.
Okay.
This guy, Cairo, was using automated bots to scrape data from Cross Media's website.
Oh, wow.
Now, they had a clear terms of service forbidding this and even sent Cairo a personal letter telling him to stop.
Oh, so he's like a digital trespasser.
Right, exactly.
That's kind of bold, or maybe just clueless.
Well, the court found it was definitely not okay, and because Cairo kept scraping even after being explicitly
He
warned,
just kept going.
yeah, so they ruled that he was bound by those terms of service even though he never clicked anything.
Wow, so even though there wasn't that direct I agree moment, because he knew about the rules and just chose to ignore them,
Yeah.
he got in trouble.
Exactly.
Wow.
And both the Specht and Cairo cases really highlight why it's important to, pay attention.
Yeah.
Like, actually be aware of the terms governing the online spaces we use every day.
Like suddenly realizing those terms and conditions aren't just legal mumbo jumbo.
Right.
So the big difference here is proving whether you knew about the rules or not.
Yeah.
But how does this actually affect us in our everyday lives online? I mean, it's not like I'm out there scraping data with bots.
Right. It's about way more than just avoiding legal trouble, although that's definitely a plus. Understanding these agreements can really help you protect your rights online.
Okay.
Things like data privacy, how your information is used, even what happens if a service changes its terms without telling you.
Okay, so it's not just about, those gotcha moments, but about understanding what you're signing up for in the first place. Now,
Exactly.
give me some real-world examples.
Absolutely. Think about those like endless cookie banners that pop up everywhere.
Ugh, yeah.
A lot of times buried in those policies are clauses about how websites can track your browsing data,
Oh, yeah.
even across different sites.
Wow, I had no idea it could get that granular. I
Yes.
usually just click accept all to make the banner disappear.
We've all been there. But here's another thing to consider. A lot of software licenses, the kind you agree to when you download a program or app,
Yeah.
they might have clauses that limit your liability.
Oh.
Like what happens if something goes wrong or the software damages your computer. Understanding those terms can make a huge difference if you ever need to make a claim.
So it's like having a secret decoder ring for the digital world.
Right.
Once you know the key, you can start to understand how to protect yourself and your information.
Exactly. And honestly, I think it all comes down to like a shift in mindset. We're so used to just clicking through these agreements without a second thought.
Right.
But taking a moment to actually understand what they really mean can make a huge difference in how we navigate the online world.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, with so much of our lives moving online, are these legal concepts going to, evolve? Like, will we need new laws or agreements to kind of keep up with how we use technology?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
And it's something that legal experts and tech folks are debating right now.
Yeah.
I think we might start seeing more standardized language in these agreements,
Okay.
making them, easier for everyone to understand.
Right.
Or maybe we'll see like new technologies that can help us actually visualize the terms, making them less intimidating and easier to digest.
Like a visual representation of how my data is being used instead of pages of legal text.
Exactly. Something that makes the whole process more user-friendly and empowers individuals to make informed choices about their digital lives.
That would be amazing because, one thing that's good on my mind is the kind of power dynamic here.
Yeah.
It's us, the everyday users, versus, these giant companies with teams of lawyers drafting these agreements.
Right.
It can feel a little overwhelming to even know where to start.
You're absolutely right to point that out.
Yeah.
There's a huge conversation happening right now about fairness and transparency in these online agreements. Some people believe stricter regulations are needed to level the playing field,
Okay.
while others think educating users and encouraging companies to adopt, more straightforward language is the way to go.
It seems like there's no easy answer,
Yeah.
but at least knowing about these issues and starting the conversation is a step in the right direction.
Definitely.
What I'm hearing from you is that it's not about memorizing every legal term.
Right.
It's about understanding the big picture and being more mindful of how we interact with these agreements.
You nailed it. It's all about empowering ourselves with knowledge so we can navigate the online world with more confidence and awareness.
It's like they always say, knowledge is power.
Right.
And in this case, it's about protecting ourselves and shaping a digital future where our rights are respected.
I love that. It's not about fearing technology,
Right.
but about understanding how to engage with it in a way that, benefits everyone.
I have to say, this deep dive has really changed how I see those terms and conditions.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be more mindful about what I'm agreeing to from now on.
That's what we like to hear. It's all about those small changes in behavior that can make a big difference.
For our listeners who are now just as fascinated by this as I am, are there any resources you'd recommend for diving even deeper into this world?
Absolutely. The Electronic Frontier Foundation, or EF, is a great place to start.
Oh.
They've got tons of information on digital rights and online contracts that's written in a way that's, easy to understand.
Perfect. We'll make sure to link to those in the show notes.
Awesome.
And remember, this is an ongoing conversation.
Yeah.
As technology keeps evolving, those legal lines are going to keep shifting.
Right.
So stay curious, keep asking questions, and let's all work towards a digital world that's fair and transparent.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Thank you so much for joining us today and shedding light on this really important topic.
It was my pleasure.
Oh.
Until next time.
And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of online contracts. Remember, you have more power than you think.